अपनी खोज में निकल, तू खुद की खोज में निकल, तू किस लिए हताश है, तू चल, तेरे वजूद की समय को भी तलाश है। जो तुझसे लिपटी बेड़ियां, समझना इनको वस्त्र तू, ये बेड़ियां पिघाल के बना ले इनको शस्त्र तू, बना ले इनको शस्त्र तू। तू खुद की खोज में निकल, तू किस लिए हताश है, तू चल, तेरे वजूद की समय की भी तलाश है। चरित्र जब पवित्र है तो क्यों है ये दशा तेरी, ये पापियों को हक नहीं कि ले परीक्षा तेरी। तू खुद की खोज में निकल, तो किस लिए हताश है, जला के भस्म कर उसे जो क्रूरता का जाल है। तू आरती की लौ नहीं, तू क्रोध की मशाल है। तू खुद की खोज में निकल, तो किस लिए हताश है, तू चल, तेरे वजूद की समय की भी तलाश है। चुनर उड़ा के ध्वज बना, गगन भी कब पाएगा, अगर तेरी चुनर गिरी तो एक भूकंप आएगा, तो एक भूकंप आएगा। तू खुद की खोज में निकल, तो किस लिए हताश है, तू चल, तेरे वजूद की समय की भी तलाश है।
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Geeky Pod with Manas. Thank you for all your love and support in the last episode that we posted regarding how I scored AIR 55 in GATE examination with Mr. Rajarshi Bhattacharya. This podcast today is a continuation of the last podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk about a few more topics that I had discussed with Rajarshi. In this podcast, we have talked about how to go digital minimalism, what are the ways one can adopt digital minimalism. We have talked about jobs versus startups. A person after graduation from college, should they look for startups or should they go for jobs? And how to create jobs. We have talked about how science as a sector can be beneficial for the world. We have talked about environmental impacts. We have talked about various other global warmings and various other topics. We have also talked about the philosophical aspects of one human life and many more interesting things. I hope you like this podcast episode as well. Since you are listening to this podcast on Spotify, one request is please hit the follow button. Follow this podcast for keep updated with all the episodes which will be coming in this podcast. Also, if you think that this podcast is a valuable podcast and it provides some value to the audience who listens to it, do rate it out of 5 star, whatever star you think this podcast deserves. Please rate it. It will help me reach more and more audience in the audio format. Thank you. Thank you for all your love and support. Enjoy the podcast.
So, Manas, tell me something. I'm very interested to know, but because like I also listen to a lot of podcasts, and now seeing this setup, I am very much like I want to have that very much. So, tell me, how did you like start? How did you get this idea, and where are you trying to take this channel? What's your like ultimate goal? Do you want to be a full-time YouTuber, or what do you like want to achieve?
No, like you also, I am also a fan of all podcasts on specifically on Spotify. I consume podcast via audio mode only. But since everyone is addicted to video mode, so I am forced to create video mode as well. But ideally, this started in during lockdown. I started getting introduced to this podcasting during lockdown, and I used to
Nice.
consume like 3 to 4 hours of podcast episode every day. Then I discovered a lot of podcasters from India, from abroad, and found their way of dealing with the different topics, how they interact with different people. I found that aspect very fascinating. But I was also like, how to start even I don't know. Maybe I was in IT, but I was also not knowing how to start it out. So one
Yeah.
day last year, I think during October, suddenly it clicked me. I have one small mic, the lapel mic.
Okay.
So with that, I thought let's start something. So I started recording some normal audio format, and I googled how to open an
Like by
account in
yourself? They were not
by yourself.
interviewed, or like not? Okay. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
nothing. Just like intro trailer, something. So I googled how to open an account in Spotify podcaster mode and upload. So I got it. I did it, and it clicked with a few of the audience. Then I thought let's start it. Why not?
Ah,
So that's how it started. Then this came long later when I started doing video mode. This setup. So
okay.
for 4 months I was in audio mode. Then from December only I'm in video.
Right. So, like, are you doing this like to go into it professionally, or like just as a personal
No,
hobby
if
interest?
it's just a habit. So from my college days, school days itself, I like to interact with people. People who know me personally, professionally, they will say that I interact well with people. So
That's great.
with that only, that idea only, this is if it grows well and very good. But if it doesn't grow,
I'm
that's
sure
a
it
part
will.
of my hobby.
Yeah,
That's how
that's
it
not the
is.
aim, right? The aim is to have fun.
Yeah.
Have
And
fun while
I've
doing.
I've come across a few people who are there in school and colleges. My podcast idea is mostly about careers and how you go to a particular career, what were your experiences, failures, success while taking up the
Ah,
journey. Some of the
it's very
people
important,
came to
actually.
me in social
Hmm.
media saying like, we
Okay.
by seeing your podcast I got to know about civil service examination in Tripura, how it happens. I got to know about how to go abroad by pursuing an education course. So
Yeah.
that clicks. Actually, there are people who are really getting benefited one way or the other, and that makes me
It's
happy.
true because it's very hard to get information from web that is authentic, right?
Right.
So, and because you're interviewing people who have actually been there, done it, so they can guide.
Right.
It's a
Yes.
lot of satisfaction that we get, right? When you someone comes and says us, "Yeah, your thing helped me, thank you."
Exactly. Yeah. So now let's say we are doing a job now. I know some of my friends, from our college itself, are doing something in startup world, or they have started doing some startup, but it failed. Now they're back to jobs or something like that. So when you see this both contrasting worlds, one is startup world and one is the job. So why do you think which career path one should choose, and what are the merit demerits one should see while doing that? Because government is pushing towards startup entrepreneurship now, like to a lot of extent. They're opening startup India schemes and a lot of other things. But as an individual, is the one person who should take the decision. How to come up to that decision? Okay, I should leave my job or I should not do job and go for startup. That's a huge
Hmm.
one risk. Yeah.
Uh, I feel like the word startup and entrepreneurship is being used very frequently nowadays. It's being like lobbied here and there. For me, what I feel startup and entrepreneurship is like when you have an idea, you have to execute it. Now, if you open a shop, it's a business, it's not a startup. So the difference is like you are the owner in both the places, you are the founder of your shop, say, but you are opening a startup only when you have an idea, you believe in your idea, you are passionate about it, and it's true that like it may fail. Again, it comes that there is the most probability that it will fail, but it will still not stop you from going there, right? So more than any angel investors, seed money, and like investment amount, I think people who have a genuine idea now, the startup world and these founders worlds are very different from ours. People who are doing jobs, the things that I have said, nothing will be applicable to them. They will be constantly on their phones, they'll be connected 24/7, they'll always be in tension, but they will do it because they love the product, because it's their own product, it's their baby. So once you have ideas can be like very simple, like you have an app in which say it's a dhobi ghat app. People will collect somebody will collect the clothes from your house, they will go and wash it somewhere and they will return it to you. That is also a startup idea. So the startup world is like it's full of these enterprising individuals who like need some backing, but I feel like, yeah, with the government initiatives and all, so many startups are opening, and like we are proud to say that like India is one of the top nations that are coming with the most number of startups, I guess.
Hmm.
So Israel is doing very good. China has so many startups, it's ridiculous the amount of China, like mostly they copy from US, but also they have their own like they integrate across all their apps, all the services. Like they have their WhatsApp, right? I forgot the name. So through this WhatsApp, from day one, they can do payment through this thing. They can book tickets. So they have this all in one app.
WeChat.
So WeChat, yeah, it's called WeChat, and WhatsApp is not allowed there, so they have to use WeChat. So in India also the startup wave that is there. Like say even if I open a restaurant, say I open a restaurant which offers like unique food, that is also a startup. And I don't feel like there should be this pomp and like this flair, yeah, startup khol diya to nowadays for startup, because I have also tried to, not a startup but as a freelancer, I have tried to work like writing articles and stuff. But the most thing is like the branding that you want to do for yourself, and for branding you need that reach, you need the networking, and all of this is, it requires really like 100%, 200% of your time and effort. You cannot think about anything else. There is no work-life balance. There's no money also, because for the first 2 years, for the first 5 years, almost all businesses do losses.
Right.
Right? I think I read this somewhere. Everyone who came to this Shark Tank, all of their companies are mostly presently running in loss, but the loss is gradually decreasing, and
Decreasing.
they will go gradually be profitable. So they are working towards that. Lenskart and everyone. So you have to have that jigra. I don't have that jigra. I'm like a laid back guy. Itna tension is, and in all sincerity, I don't have any like revolutionary ideas also that I can like formulate. So, but people who have that and are working towards that, they have a lot of my respect. And I know like our parents' generation, they are like, अरे इसका तो बिजनेस है और ये तो दुकान खोल के बैठेगा, इसका क्या ही स्टेटस है. Nowadays it's like, if you succeed, there's this book called the Millionaire Fast Lane. It says that if you want to be a millionaire in terms of dollar, then you cannot do a job, earn a salary, and hope to be a millionaire. You have to open your business, and the best way is to like sell your business. So, but then there is another book. I love that one also. It's called the 4 Hour Work Week. The 4 Hour Work Week is a tremendously popular book. It popularized work from home before work from home was a thing, pre-COVID. Like, what is 4 Hour Work Week? That person works 4 hours in a week, and like that's it. He travels, and he is like this term called digital nomad. Digital nomad is a term. Yeah, it has been very popular now. What do you think about it? Like, being a digital nomad, is it better or worse than like being in some city and working?
No, personally, I feel digital nomad is better because you are not confined within a box, within a cubicle in IT world or any company for that matter.
There's
You get to
location
zero
independence.
yes.
Yeah. Anywhere you have internet, you can do your job. That's like amazing. You can do your job in the beach, like sipping a cola, or you can do your job over the mountains, provided it has that Airtel ka
Yeah.
yeah. So if internet is there, then they'll be able to do it. But I am also very much influenced by like the 4 Hour Work Week thing. That does not like say that you will be a millionaire doing this. It says that you will gain a handful amount of money. The important thing is you will not be attached to a job, to a desk, right? So how does that happen? Say you make T-shirts with appealing slogans, okay, and you sell it to distributors. So that is something that once you like automate the process, or the process starts, then you don't have much role to play in it. So your manufacturer will like distribute it to your distributors, and ultimately you'll get a cut of your profit. So you make a like cycle in which you physically don't have to be there. Think of something that is his like mantra of it. It appeals more to me because like I think independence matters more to me than money. It may be something else for other people, but these are the two like spectrums of this. Either you be a millionaire fast lane, in the fast lane, or you can be in a startup, but you develop something that frees your time, which is also like the most important currency. So being a Sarkari Naukri guy also, I have read a lot about it, the remote work thing and the location independence. There are some countries who are offering visas. If you the guys listening to it don't know, they offer work visas for free, and they do not charge any taxes on your income. So if you are looking for some work that is like freelancing, there is a girl in Instagram. She's called Heli, I think. So I took her course. It cost like 10,000 rupees. Then she does this digital like copywriting, content writing thing of sort of thing. I understand that now it's a little bit difficult because of ChatGPT. So like ChatGPT has eliminated so much of work, which is IT. Like a manual laborer still has to leave the like stones in his head and go. But if you are trying to write a song, ChatGPT will write a better song than you.
Yes.
So it's going in ways, I will not say it's bad, it's going in unpredictable ways than we thought artificial intelligence will develop. But yeah, there's still plenty of like if you are like an advanced coder, I think you will have more idea about that than me. But that's what I have heard. Like they can only write basic codes, this kind of algorithms. But if you are someone who does coding extensively, then you can still have this kind of income as a freelancer without being like aligned to a company, because it's difficult to work in a company and have this location independence thing, right?
Correct.
So yeah. That's my 2 cents about these startups and jobs. If
Right.
you have an idea, I think go for startups. But yeah, I'm also like very afraid of that. So
Yeah. Now,
it's scary.
I think like you mentioned in previous one of answer, you have reached 30 age. So I have also reached that. I have
Yeah.
mostly crossed that. So now we have
Yeah.
crossed that
Who's that?
adulting
Yeah.
part. So we are in the early 30s now. So we have crossed that adulting part, or maybe we're still growing, being that adult that we are. So while growing up, we had a lot of issues about our body images, our social pressure. So people around us growing faster than someone is getting married, someone is getting high paying job, someone is going
Yeah.
XYZ high, and someone is going low. So now in current situation, current generation who are the 2000 generation or after that, they are also upcoming. They are also becoming adults now. So now they'll have different set of issues than what we had, because they are surrounded by technology and they'll have jealousy by seeing on the social media. So how do you think that people of that generation, or maybe our generation also, should deal with those ideas and grow in a fruitful manner?
Yeah, I know it's very interesting, because our generation, I'll say, it has seen so much of transition. I am a person, I have seen the TVs in which there was this kind of big regulators. Have you seen those TVs, Beltec
Yes,
and
yes,
Telerama TVs? We
yes.
are from that generation. We have seen the phones in which we have to like rotate
Ring
this thing and
dial.
it will go back to its place, ring dial, and then we have dial up. We have seen dial up connection internet, and it like the picture in a Facebook page never used to load because it's like the evolution of telephones, the evolution of internet that we have seen, the evolution of the choices that we have in purchase market, right? Say like even in 2005 2006, when internet first came, there was only BSNL.
Hmm.
You have to go to their office, you have to apply, you will get a sim if you are lucky, and you have to pay like 800 or 900 rupees for it, and there's no other company, there's only BSNL. And now you see like this after the geo revolution, of course, uh, there are so many choices and the data is the cheapest in the world in India. That's like a very
Yeah.
big thing. So like it's sad how people use it, but government has provided it, companies are providing it, so that's a big thing. And we have such a big consumer industry. You will see YouTube is flooded with the Gora people. I'm not demeaning them, they are just the Westerners. They are reacting to Indian trailers, like the
Hmm.
Jawan trailer. 500 like white people, why are they doing it? Because we are like 1.4 billion people, 2.8 billion eyeballs. So once you get this much viewership, you cannot be ignored in the world stage. So
Hmm.
that is the weight that India is carrying today because of its population. I know, like the population thing, people say that 50% of our population is young, right? So as long as you don't like skillfully develop them, they it won't come out to be this demographic dividend that people tells. But nevertheless, we are the consumers before everything. If somebody is baking something, someone is there in India who will consume it. There are people who जिसको खाना खा के नहीं जो खाना नहीं खा के मर रहा है, and there are also people who are agreeing to buy Tesla. Tesla is going to start their factory in India, I think, very soon.
Hmm. Yeah.
So you have this amazing diaspora of people. You have very rich, ultra rich. You have like this, say people who are earning in crores. They are not ultra rich, but they are richer than us. Then you have us, the millennials, this interesting like generation who has seen it all. Like because in our generation there was no Jeff Bezos, there was no Elon Musk. The
Hmm.
highest, the most richest person was Bill Gates. Bill Gates was richest for like my entire life, and then for the last 1 year or 2 years, every day the richest person changes, right?
Yes.
So it has changed so much. I feel like we are the last generation who ever wrote love letters to their loved ones. Nowadays, people nobody writes love letters, right? We are the generation that has seen gully cricket in its most pure form, which is like ड्रेन में बॉल जाने से उसी बॉल को लाके फिर उसको दो धप्पा मार के उससे खेलना है, and then and not recording it. Like why now people record everything. There are these Gen Z people, I guess 1999 or 98 people who are born
Hmm.
after that, they are the Gen Z
Gen
people.
Z.
And it's Like it's amazing, and it's like unbelievable how much of a generation gap I, as a millennial who is born in 1993, have with my sister who is born in 1998. Their priorities, their lookouts are so different from us, and we are also the people who are using their gadgets only. And it's not like there and our interests are too much misaligned, but they set so much store upon this thing, mobile phones nowadays. Like if you see a baby who is crying, their parents will invariably hand over this iPhone or this phones to this boy
Watch
or
the
girl.
animation.
Watch this thing and
Cocomelon.
stay silent. And he or she immediately falls silent. And they know more about the phone features at like 1 year old than their parents. Sometimes they change the language or something, and the parents cannot change it back. So it's like it's a they when COVID happened, all of the education was like remote, and I cannot fathom how that will be. Like there is no school bus, there is no like shortage of seats in. Do you remember the NIT Agartala buses? Oh my god, there is there are like this overcrowded Murika dabba that we had to get it somehow. And like by fourth year, when we were returning, it would pretty much thin out the crowd
Yeah.
because everybody went home earlier. So, but yeah, we are from that generation who had to travel to somewhere to gain something. Nowadays, it's just like, laptop mein aa jao. There will be like 16 boxes, and your education will be imparted. I don't know whether that is good or bad, because school environment has so much to shape. My best friends, I have the circle of best friends, I'm very lucky to say, who have been my best friends since my school and some of my college years, and we are still the best friends. We have been together for like 8 years, 10 years. Like this long commitment, I'm sure is for lifetime. And one of them, I'm traveling with Europe next week with one of them for like tour purpose. We have been together to Bali, we have been together to Dubai, uh, Goa, of course. So, like this camaraderie, I don't know whether the people will find in the digital world. Since I mentioned Bali, I'll tell you this, because I mentioned remote work. Now, there are a lot of people who shift to Bali for doing remote work. You will find lots of videos in YouTube, like how to do it. And Bali is very cheap. One theory is like you earn in dollars and you spend in Indonesian currency, because it's like the exchange rate works in your favor. So, and there's this book called Eat, Pray, Love. It's about a 40-plus-year-old lady who got divorced, and she was like in turmoil. So she shifted to Bali, and there she got like what I was talking about, like tranquility and peace, and to just step back from your life and reevaluate where we are going, right? So when I went, I did not know about this book, but I was like, why are so many 40-plus ladies here living by themselves and doing some job? And this one book, this Eat, Pray, Love book, was responsible for hordes of like single ladies, like from the Western nations, coming in Bali, staying there, searching for tranquility, and they're just overcrowding the place in the process. That's the thing. So yeah, our generation sets more store in physical interactions, I feel, more than the Gen Z folks. And of course, technology will shape our world in the future also. Like there are now sensors in everything. Can you believe that the Internet of Things that is coming, it will be like this. There is a sensor in the milk bottle in which you keep milk, and you keep it in your fridge. So once the level comes down below a certain level, below a threshold, the sensor will sense it, and automatically one carton of milk will be ordered from your Amazon account without any involvement on your part. Can you believe that there is a sensor in my keyhole in my office, right? And when I insert this keyhole at the end of my day, it will correlate to my finishing of the work for today. And that means that the coffee maker in my home, it will start automatically so that my coffee is ready. My heater or air conditioner in my car will start off a little bit earlier so that like I do not have to face the discomfort. And like everything is happening so smoothly, you are not involved in it. So of course, technology has like given us godlike abilities, and it's still going on. It's still the virtual assistants that we have. It's like unfathomable, and they will face it even more than us. But they will also face some of the disadvantages, like the climate changes. They will face more than us. So we'll probably thankfully die by then. So like by 2100s, can you believe there will be no ice in Himalayas? So yes, people go to Shimla and Manali before you go to like Prague, because that may be there, but this won't be. So it's like it's hanging on balance. They get the best of something and they get the worst of something also. But ours is a generation that I love to be. I'm so blessed to be part of this generation, because we have seen so much and we are going to see so much. We are still like, I know we are 30, but we're still relatively young. If we stay healthy and eat good food, maybe we will see like at least Mars colonization. To mujhe dekhna hi hai. Like we are going, humanity is going to Mars. Maybe not me personally, I'd love to, but humanity is going to Mars and we are colonizing space. And some messages coming from Voyager. Alien aa gaya tab to, like I'm saying it like kind of a jocularly, but I seriously believe that the space thing, that is like जब भी इसरो कोई ये करता है, so the entire India gets excited, right? Because that is our culture. More than worshipping, we are more curious, we are more inclined towards learning, and learning is encouraged in our country also, because there is so many great institutions of learning. If you look at Bhabha Atomic Research Center, if you look at the IITs, they were established in such a time. There's this book called India After Gandhi by Ramchandran Guha. It says ki our history ends at 1947. Why does our history end at 1947? Our history has been 75 years since that. Nobody teaches about this period. The post-independence period. Sure, our freedom struggle was one of the greatest in the world. But the post-independence period was like illiterate population, almost illiterate population everywhere. So many refugees coming on, both from Bangladesh, that is East Pakistan that was, and from Pakistan. There is like 90 lakh refugees. They have to be resettled. The land has to be redistributed. There is disease everywhere. There is no food. And in the middle of it, there is this country that is still not a country. So many people did not think India as a country then, when it got independent, because there were 500 princely states then, who were individually distinct countries. I and you also come from a princely state, Tripura. Correct. It's one of the most beautiful states. Everyone should visit it. And Kashmir is also a princely state. So these two are the Hyderabad was part of a princely state, the Nizam there. So, like India was an experiment at that time, and to have universal adult franchise means every person, be it Ambani or be it that Budi auntie from Swadesh, has one vote. To do that, to be able to do that on day one of independence is incredible. No other country has done that. America was a republic first, then a democratic. The difference between being a republic and a democratic is, in a republic, there is no king. But also, it's not like everybody can vote. People with property and rich people only can vote, because they feel like poor people are like not capable of giving vote. So I read in this book, the first general elections that were held in 1952, people in Meghalaya, there were actually tribal people who came to the voting booth with bow and arrows. So they were that kind of people who had always like settled their differences with bows and arrows and fighting. And now they had come to this great thing of like deciding your leader through a democratic process. That is like the pinnacle of civilization. So that's like the growth story that I am interested in. And it's fascinating. It's simply like so much of it, it's not taught in school. I don't know why. But it should be, it really should be. It's like the way we have developed the stable development. There is not a single decade in which India has gone down. And that is very rare. You will see unstable like states like Syria or like Lebanon. And even inside China and Russia and now Ukraine, there are so many like elements that can destabilize a country. And to be a country as diverse as India, like so many religions and so many cultures, so many tribes, and to want to be together and not be like, हाँ ठीक है हमको अपना देश चाहिए मेरे को कुछ नहीं मांगता है. So that is like amazing. What was the question?
So adulting was the question, but we have answered.
Oh yeah. So yeah. So another part of being an adult is, I believe, it's managing your own finance. So managing your money is very important when you start to earn, because it's like you are earning money in 50,000, 70,000, 1 lakh, whatever, but you don't know what your ultimate goals are. So better you have strategies now than like if I got to know about, say, a mutual fund or stock market at the age of 30, then I would be repenting, because the amount of return I would get in the 7 years, like I got my job at 22 years of age. So that would be tremendous. if it is compounded by 10%. So personal finance also comes into place when you are in college now. You are like isolated from the real world. There's this big boundary wall which is like a castle. You are inside the castle and you are getting food. Like you just go 2 steps and there's food in the canteen, and you think life is that. You think it does not matter whether I study or not. It does not matter whether I do career or not. And there is this popular belief that college to enjoy karne ke liye hai. So from that, when you step into the real world now, and nobody bothers about you, you are staying far away from your home state, and your mummy papa can't be with you. You miss them. Cannot make any friends. You have in your office some people who only care about your performance. They are not cared about your well-being, your health. So from going to the from the college environment to this office environment, it's like a culture shock. It's as big as a culture shock. It's like going from India to say I don't know, Paris. So it hits you with a huge force, and many people I have seen, they are depressed and they leave their jobs at some time, because the initial phase, once it clears out, then you become like accustomed to it. But then that is the time that you actually become an adult, when you realize that your worth will only be determined by your work and nothing else. Yeah. So that is the part.
Right. So I think we have so much to discuss again now. We have so much topic to discuss. But for the time's sake, we'll close for today. But I assure my audience that we'll connect again for another or couple of episodes, not only another. Definitely. Okay.
Yeah. Like since you told me that it's about more about careers and stuff, so I will say some things about your career as what has been my experience is like in India right now, the problem is so acute that if you don't get a job on campus now, and mostly private college people don't get a job on campus, you have to be like a person who is out of breath, who is underwater, who is like desperately in need of oxygen. You have to be that person. You have to be thrashing your hands and toes, and you have to be fighting, struggling like crazy. Because when you are inside your home and you are in your comfort of your bed, you are reading something, you don't realize that there is bloodlust. People would really kill for the job that you are preparing, right?
Correct.
So I heard this beautiful thing that your exam begins so much before than you when you actually appear for the exam. When you are entering the exam hall, you are just like you are just doing the formality. The ranker knows that he will get a rank. Like I did not know I would get 55, but I was confident that I would get something. So everyone knows what their worth is before they enter their exam hall. So the real examination is going on when you are in preparation mode. So many people are like miss this point, and the time you are wasting now, your opponent, I will only say, or like your competition is using that time to thrash you in future. So it's like I have seen with the younger generation also, they're like, this job is not worth me. So it's nothing like that. You get something, you get into something that will boost your confidence, that will help you earn some money that you can use for your further resources, but you get into something. It's very important that you get at least something. There are people who are like, okay, I will go for high studies. Banking is beneath me. I don't want to do banking. I'm an engineer. Why should I do banking? So there's nothing like that. You get into a clerical job. They have enough time, I believe, to prepare like for something else. And if you get demotivated and stuff, so I would like to end with a poem by Tanveer Ghazi, and I heard it in the voice of Amitabh Bachchan ji first. It's called अपनी खोज में निकल, तू खुद की खोज में निकल, तू किस लिए हताश है, तू चल, तेरे वजूद की समय को भी तलाश है, जो तुझसे लिपटी बेड़ियां, समझना इनको वस्त्र तू, ये बेड़ियां पिघाल के बना ले इनको शस्त्र तू, बना ले इनको शस्त्र तू खुद की खोज में निकल, तू किस लिए हताश है, तू चल, तेरे वजूद की समय की भी तलाश है, चरित्र जब पवित्र है तो क्यों है ये दशा तेरी, ये पापियों को हक नहीं कि ले परीक्षा तेरी, तू खुद की खोज में निकल, तू किस लिए हताश है, जला के भस्म कर उसे जो क्रूरता का जाल है, तू आरती की लौ नहीं, तू क्रोध की मशाल है, तू खुद की खोज में निकल, तू किस लिए हताश है, तू चल, तेरे वजूद की समय की भी तलाश है। चुनर उड़ा के ध्वज बना, गगन भी कप कपाएगा। अगर तेरी चुनर गिरी तो एक भूकंप आएगा, तो एक भूकंप आएगा। तू खुद की खोज में निकल, तू किस लिए हताश है? तू चल, तेरे वजूद की समय की भी तलाश है, समय की भी तलाश।
Wow.
So be that person, be a fire. Yeah. Why would you get demotivated? You always be like courageous and have fun, be happy. That's it.
Great, great. So we'll wrap it up for today. But thank you, Rajarshi, for sharing all this that we have discussed today. I hope
Thank you.
our
And
audience will.
I have always wanted to be in a podcast. Serious. So the first time that I saw your podcast, I listened to it, but the more I was thinking about was मेरे को बुलाएगा यार ये. So that day has finally appeared. I'm so
Right.
happy, genuinely.
Yeah, we'll connect again. I'll ping you
Of
for all
course, I'd
this.
be happy to. I have like so many things to discuss.
No, I
Just
always
Nomad.
wanted to do podcast with multiple people. Now we are one-to-one discussing. When we have multiple people, more ideas. I want to have that. So
They'll be like great discussions. I look
sure.
forward to it.
Thank you very much for listening or watching till this end. This marks the end of this two-episode podcast that I had with Mr. Rajarshi Bhattacharya. Thank you for all your patience and watching it or listening it till the end. Hope you liked it. If you liked it, please hit the subscribe button, comment and share it with your friends and family and WhatsApp groups where you think people may get benefited from this. If you're listening on Spotify, do hit the like button, follow it, do rate it if you like the content. Out of 5, whatever rating you want to give, please do rate it. It will help me reach more and more audience. Thank you.